Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. Welcome to another exciting episode of Just Saying Podcast. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're going to be talking about decisions. Uh, it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting title. It's an interesting episode that's about to come out right now. Sorry for skipping yesterday. I know these are supposed to be out on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but uh, I made a decision not to do it. And it wasn't that I made a decision. It wasn't that I just made an immediate decision not to do it. Uh, the one that I recorded, I made a decision not to release it because I didn't like it. And usually if I don't like it, I'll, still drop it. And then what I'm saying? It'll still be like, yo, it can still work. It just didn't work. Um, I can't even really think about what it was that I was talking about in that episode. But it was definitely all over the place. And usually when I'm all over the place, I can still bring it back. I just couldn't catch that one. So after all of the time spent recording it, I deleted it. I made the decision not to drop it. Right. And I guess it worked out because it opened the door for me to drop this one. And this one is a lot more fluid. I already know it's going to be a lot more fluid because of how well um, it's already starting to come in. So when we look at decisions, right, I don't think we understand how things happen. So let me tell you how this episode came about. I was I was watching, no, I wasn't having a conversation. I was watching Power, and I was watching, OG Power and shit, the old shit, shit. And I'm looking at like the decisions that they're making and shit. And it's crazy. But one of the things that, after Raina got shot, uh, one of the people were talking to Tasha or they were talking to Tariq. They were talking to somebody, but somebody said it, and it's a phrase that they said that pisses me off when I hear it, and I hate it with a passion. Uh, and it's when people say, everything happens for a reason. And in that moment, for some reason, I didn't really get frustrated at it, but it just sat with me and stuck with me. That phrase has always stuck with me all my life. And, it's kind of coming into fruition now because everything does happen for a reason. But the reason is that it's the result of decisions, right? Now, before, motherfuckers get into some shit about, well, certain things happen, we gotta first understand that we have to see beyond our own individual ego first, because our decisions aren't the only important decisions in this world. The decisions that we're most immediately tied to aren't the most important decisions. You feel what I'm saying? There's decisions that have been made and called you ever heard of the butterfly effect? The butterfly effect shows that one decision can change reality. One small decision can change a large reality. That means that that small decision is still large in a smaller reality because it's relative. You feel what I'm saying? So as I'm looking at just observing my life and observing the things that I've I've grown into, that I've grown out of, that I've interacted myself with, it's all based off decisions, you know? And it's not just my decisions that matter. And it's not just your decisions that matter. It's the decisions of everybody that you interact with, knowingly, unknowingly, uh, consciously, unconsciously. It doesn't matter. Every decision has some kind of impact. This is why we can look back on things that we were oblivious to in the moment and see significance in them later, because whatever decision was made for that moment to happen, it happened. So as I'm thinking about it, and I just recently made a post, probably about 2 hours before this episode came out. Um, but I just recently made a post where I was saying, everything happens for a reason, and the reason is your decisions. And the reason is decision, not just your decisions. So now I mentioned in the previous episode, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this now because where we about to go right now, I want to go ahead and get the other people out who ain't gonna want to listen because of what I got to talk about with it. I've been saying previously like that, you know, gods and devils, deities, however you choose to look at them, they're the results of our decisions. And when we don't understand that because of the way that they have programmed us, we lose sight of that reality. You feel what I'm saying? We use deities, we use deities to justify our decisions. You feel me? The decisions we don't want to be accountable for, the decisions we don't want to be responsible for, we put them off to deities, right? Now, when the collective culture creates the decision making, right, and everybody follows the same decision making, that's when you get the full deity. When it's just you as the individual, then suddenly it's just the demon or the angel. You see what I'm saying? But it's all the results of our decisions. We know that the word demon etymologically comes from the word genius. In the Greek terminology, it means genius. So that means that the angel is the analog for that. So the decisions created through our genius are what creates our angels and demons. The decisions created through the genius of our culture is what gives us our deities. You feel what I'm saying? So overall, every decision we make is predicated upon, and so the reason why I'm saying that part is because when people say, such and such doesn't make a mistake, or everything happens for a reason, or whatever the case may be, it's because collectively we all are contributing to decisions that led for this to happen. But before I dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram _just_scene _ Be sure to check out my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who like to tip, donated sponsors to the to all those who tip, donated sponsors to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. To all those who would like to tip, donated sponsors to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not this episode, but the podcast itself. And as always, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. So we're gonna take a quick break. So that's that for this, and that's this for that. So we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna dive into decisions. We're going to dive into decisions, these decisions, the reason things happen. And don't forget to visit iamjustseen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit iamjustseen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit iamjustseen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit iamjustseen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at iamjustseen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit iamjustseen.com. All right. Welcome back. Ow. And without further ado, we're going to dive straight head into this shit. And no, I'm not going to spend most of this conversation on religion and shit like that and the deities, but I wanted to go ahead and get to that point because it's going to be referenced at some point down the line based on what we're talking about. But specifically, what really triggered this, what really wanted me, like I said, seeing the episode on power, but more than that was, the talking phase in relationships. Like, I was talking to somebody and they were saying, like, the dating pool is this, that, and the third. It's like, when you date, what do you look for? I look for a motherfucker who get to be themselves. I never really articulated it exactly what I meant before because I didn't know what I was actually saying, but I knew what I was talking about. You feel me? And as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yo, I don't want you to try to perform for me. I don't want you to do nothing. I just want you to be your motherfucking self around me. And they're like, I can do that, this, that, and the third. But the reason why that I do that and why, and it's just crazy. It's like there's some women that I could talk to that is like in the moments that we talking, they cool. I'm not like, it feels all right. But then there's other moments where it's like, and they didn't have to show me anything. And I never realized what the fuck was happening, what the fuck I was doing. I was paying attention to their decisions, the decision making skills. And when we find trying to figure out somebody, we want to know their favorite color. We want to ask you who your interests are, who you be with. And we try to throw, even down to the very, very conscious people who get into astrology and shit like that. And they want to, let's do synastry. What's your natal chart? What's your birthday? All of that shit is irrelevant. All of that shit is your numerology. Yes, I dabble in it. Yes, I study it. Yes, I understand it. I know numerology. I know Chaldean and Pythagorean. I know astrology. I know human design. I know all of these different sciences and shit, but don't none of that matter at all. What matters is a motherfucker's decision-making skills. And somehow when we're in the talking phase, we don't realize that that's what the fuck we're supposed to be looking for. Motherfucker, how well do you make decisions? Or not even how well do you make decisions, because it doesn't even have to be on a theoretical level like good, bad, ugly, or none of the shit like that. What are your decision making? What decisions do you make on a regular basis? You feel me? Because our decisions ultimately shape our reality. That's it. That's it. You want to know if a motherfucker's a good person or a bad person or not. However, look at their decisions. You can be performative in front of me. You can play yourself, or you can hold yourself back a certain way to where you're, hey, I I like this too. I don't give a fuck what you like. I don't give a fuck if you like what I like. I don't give a fuck if you read the books that I read. I don't give a fuck if you're willing to study what I study. What decisions do you make in life? Because that's what affects me. That's what affects me. You feel what I'm saying? And from my own perspective, because I'm low key a decisive person. Sometimes I'm impulsively decisive, but I'm a decisive motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? And in addition to being impulsively decisive, if I do fuck up a situation, my decision will always be to fix my problems. My decisions will always to be fix my fuck ups. It is never to walk away from no shit and just, case in point, I left fucking med school, bro. I left med school, I left academia, all of that shit with mountains of debt. You feel me? I knew what my decision was. But at the same time, in my decision, I say, yo, I gotta still decide to knock this shit back out. Like, I can't, you feel me? That's not, I am not doing that. You feel me? But that's me as a person. That's my decision. Those are parts of my decision making skills. You feel what I'm saying? But like I said, because when we look at people and we want to talk to them, we want to see, yo, how do you fit in my life? How do you fit in my life is predicated upon what decisions you make. Because decisions, everybody's decisions affects us, whether we know that person or not. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying? And I think life is designed to teach us that. I really feel like life is designed to teach us that from the beginning, because the first decision we're the result of that we have, the first decisions we're the result of are the decisions of our parents. Here's where this web starts to get a little deeper, starts to get a little unraveled. And this is why when I talk about deities, I always say they're the highest conceptualization of the mind. This is also why now when I say that what we identify as deities are the consequences of collective actions and response, collective decisions, whether we want to be aware of them or not, we can put it on, yo, the deity did this, the deity did that, because sometimes our decisions run so deep that we don't even realize that it was us that made this action happen, because our decision making skills cause us to act. You feel what I'm saying? Your decision making skills are like a fine line in your mind between your thoughts and your actions. Because even if you have the thoughts, you have to still decide before you can act. Like, that's a very powerful piece that a lot of us don't look at. So one of the first ways, like I said, in which we are in this world is that for the first duration, all of our life is built off decisions of other motherfuckers. You feel what I'm saying? And that's a very interesting take when you really consider it, because a lot of times we blame our parents, we get upset with our parents, and we don't have the capacity, because again, the way in which our parents decide to parent us is what develops our perception of them. So when you parent me according to a way where I should know better, where I should know certain things, where you beat me if I'm wrong, where you punish me for not listening or whatever the case may be, my mind has already perceived that you should be perfect in doing these things, which means your decision shouldn't be fucked up. But I'm born a fucked up decision sometimes. You see what I'm saying? When we come into these spaces and our parents are our first points of understanding, we never switch it to understand their decision making skills. We be thinking, hey, yo, this is a bad fucking person, or this person's an asshole, or this person does this, that, and third. But it's like, nah, it's their decisions, homie. Their decisions are the reasons why you here. We always talk about I didn't ask to be here. Like, here's a parallelism that syncs the esoteric with the esoteric, the ancestral realm with the physical realm. These different places that we try to keep separate that are one and the same. We'll tell each other, or we'll say, I didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to be born. However, your soul chose to incarnate according to decisions your parents made. That's a dramatic pause. I'm going to let it rock again. I'm going to say it one more time. Your soul chose to incarnate according to the decisions that your parental figures made. I know it's going to seem crazy because it's like, damn, why? Because whatever it is that you're supposed to be, the decisions of those two people come together in that rawest capacity to start your own path off of what you're supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? Their decisions were what wow. Their decisions are the spark that helps bring your soul into this world. Not only just their decisions, but they had to make specific decisions in order to align to the right time to be able to conceive you. And that creates a different power dynamic, because a lot of times it's hard to look at somebody and say, I didn't ask to be here, but then wonder what your purpose in life is. This is why I would say your purpose is found on the other side of your pain. But in addition to being found on the other side of your pain is what you decide to do with the pain that you've been given. Because all it's designed to do is to take you to your next level or keep you on your path. You feel what I'm saying? But I think we get so wrapped up in the fact that woe is me. They teach us to be victims. They teach us to be victims in the context that they don't teach us that everything is about our decisions. This is why you can easily blame somebody for some shit that fucked up in your life, but not realizing that, the decisions that we did in life are what led us together. You see what I'm saying? In just recent times, like as opposed to like a couple hours ago when I was preparing for this episode, I'm thinking and I'm looking at how, my ex-girlfriend, I ain't even gonna say like ex like that, but the one who cheated on me, I knew she was gonna cheat. I knew it. I knew it. And when people be asking, like, and I think this is a clarifying question because a lot of people be like, after the breakup happens, I knew you won't shit this and the third, because you knew their decision making skills and you overlooked it. Or you saw the decision making skills and you didn't put a name to it, or you didn't put a significance to it, because decision making skills is all that matters. So here's how I knew she was going to cheat. She told me out her own mouth she cheated on a man before because she was done with the relationship, but she didn't want to break up with him. I said, that's fucked up. Why would you just tell him? She was like, cause I knew that if he would have did it, it would have been over for good, this and the third. Wow. Your decision-making skills in that regard are crazy. But I wasn't even paying attention to her decision-making skills. I was oblivious to it. I was more so like, I wasn't looking at it as, that's a decision. Because sometimes we got buffers in it. Or that I can see how that makes sense because you want to end it, da-da-da. But whatever the reason is, that's a decision you chose to make. If you're ever put in that situation again, you'll make that decision because that's the decision you choose. That's how you decide on shit. You see what I'm saying? That's how you decide on shit. So when the shit happened and she cheated on me or whatever the case may be, and she was like, yeah, I called him. This is what she told me. She said when she cheated on a man, she called him, she told him, and she was like, he flipped out, he spazzed out and everything. She was like, I did it so that way he can end it. So when the situation happened to me, and I'm like, she calls me and tells me, I'm like, okay. I'm mad though. Don't get me wrong. I'm heated. I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. This is the first time this should happen. But then as she's telling me, I'm sorry, I just want it back. I said, no, you don't. I said, this is what you do when you want the relationship to end. What do you mean? I don't. Yes, you do. You told me the exact time. You told me before that you did this before. And you're doing it now. Like, this is you, my nigga. Like, my thing was, how did I not see that shit? Like, this is when the heat, the anger started to change, because I'm like, how the fuck didn't I see that shit? And ain't how in the fuck didn't I see that shit? Why did I not accept what she said? This is what I'm trying to get at. And this is the purpose of this episode a lot, because in that same regard, this person was heavily religious. And it was all like, after the shit happened, she was like, the devil was tempting me. No, don't blame the devil, nigga. Except that these are the types of decisions that you make, homie. The devil wasn't tempting you. That man didn't tempt you. That you made a decision you wanted to make. But it was always in you. And as I scanned the relationship, looking back, even now as I'm preparing for this episode and shit, finding my, nuggets and examples to use and shit, I'm like, hey, yo, this is, I'm like, nigga, you showed me that from the beginning. Like, you showed me that you would decide to do some shit like this from the beginning. How many of us go into the talking phase overlooking all of the decisions that a person is making right in front of us? Right in fucking front of us, bro. You feel what I'm saying? They actively making certain decisions right in our goddamn face, and we looking at it like, okay, red flag. Like, we calling the shits red flags and shit, but we're not understanding why it's a red flag. You feel me? First off, you can't. I'm not big on the universal red flags. If you got universal, like, y'all seen that, they got I ain't seen a video, but they got a whole 50-part list and motherfuckers, all of these women. I'm like, I told y'all, when y'all have universal red flags because you dating the same motherfucker, because you following the same motherfucking path, people be looking at it as the women are on that 50 list shit are looking at it like, there's no way we're dating the same man. There is, because y'all all the same woman. Stupid. Y'all got to stop putting it on us like it's always our fault, nigga. Y'all are co-contributors to your own fuck ups. You know why? Because your decision making skills tell you to. You see what I'm saying? The reason why y'all have universal red flags because y'all are following the same system. Your girl circles, all of that shit. Y'all create in your mind the same type of woman. Y'all are the same woman. So of course you're gonna get with the same man and go through the same bullshit. So the brothers and shit, we on this side and shit, why? Because we are programmed to be the same type of nigga, bro. We are programmed to create decisions that make us the same type of motherfucker. You're going to be a player. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. These are things that we're taught to get some pussy. So yes, if y'all are our types, this is why I talk about the difference between types and attraction. But if y'all are our types, this is what the fuck is going to happen to y'all. You feel what I'm saying? We're not attracted to y'all. Y'all are our type, which means you fit within a certain mold, which means you have made decisions that led you to that, which means that I've made decisions that led me to who I am, and we clash and coincide. The player and the bad bitch don't go together. Never have, never will. There's nothing fruitful that can come out of that. But when you decide to be that, that's the aftermath you get. So in this list that they're going around talking about, all of these women are saying, there's no way we dated the same. There is a way you dated the same dude because y'all are the same fucking woman. And don't even see it. It's so y'all. I'm not nothing like these hoes. Yes, you are like these hoes. How you think you in my pool of hoes, nigga? I don't like you because you different. I like you because you the same, and you don't even know it. I don't even know it because I don't even realize my decision making skills have led me to that. I have continually decided on accepting a certain reality that now predicates my existence. You see what I'm saying? But we overlook this shit in the very beginning when we in the talking phase and don't even get it. Why? Because we don't know that it's decisions that we supposed to be looking for. We our thing is we go into a relationship or we go into a circumstance asking, do you like what I like? Do you like? No, like, break this mentality of it being about me, 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 me. It's not about you. It's not about them. It's about the betterment of the fucking world. And if it's about the betterment of the fucking world, you have to realize that every decision you make has to do something to be better. You feel what I'm saying? When you watch a motherfucker who makes decisions solely for themselves, you got to realize that at the end of the day, no matter how long that relationship goes, no matter how it is, there's going to come a point where they're going to decide against you if it's going to be of their benefit, period. You see what I'm saying? That's where you have morals and standards and all these other things that come from, and you got integrity and you got shit that you can stand on. Those things come according to your decisions. Some motherfuckers ain't got no, like, when I hear people say, yo, I ain't got no conscience. Now, when we look at the word conscience, con means with, science means to know. So conscience means that you're making decisions according to your knowledge. So a motherfucker says, I ain't got no conscience. They ignorant as fuck, and you letting the ignorant motherfucker guide you with their decisions. You attracted to the decision-making skills of an ignorant motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? Like we be looking at the shit, and this is how the shit start. Let me show you how subtle the shit is. Like decision making is so powerful because motherfuckers be like, I like this person's swag. I like the way this person dress. I like the way this person decides to put clothes together. See how simple that is? It's all gonna come. Trust me. Everything that I talk about is gonna come back to our decisions at the end of the day. It's gonna come back to our decisions. You like the way the person dresses. Now, does this person dress this way because they like to dress that way, or because they know it's gonna get bitches like you? Dramatically. Or do they dress this way because they know it's gonna get niggas like you? Dramatically. We be thinking, oh yeah, she fly. I like the way she wear that. Like, you feel me? You go to the club, you see the same dress, different colors. Why? Because they know I'm gonna dance on some niggas that's got some bottles and shit like that. I know the decisions I need to make to get what I want. Now the question is, does my morality come in? Does my integrity come in? Does my consciousness come in? When we learn from kids, when we watch the decisions, like this is why it's very, very important to make sure you're not just saying to your kids, do as I say, not as I do. This is why it's fuck what you say, it's only what you do, because you make decisions that go against what you know is wrong. I'm gonna say that again for the adults with the kids who wonder why their kids is wilding the fuck out. You make decisions that contradict the instructions you give me. And you expect me to make better decisions when I'm making decisions according to the instructions that you are in conflict with. And whether or not you're in conflict with them or not is a whole different thing, because if you're still doing it without giving a fuck about the conflict, that's a bigger problem. Like that shit crazy as fuck to me. How we can look at children and we can vilify them and talk so reckless to them, but still want the patience and the peace as a fucking adult who's been here longer than them, who's had more time to develop our decision making skills. All they do is emulate the decisions they see us make. And then we beating them. Oh, yo, you know better. I don't know better. Because clearly you don't know better, because you don't do better, because this is what you decide to do. I, as a kid, decide to copy what you decide to do. And you saying it's my fault. So now when the kids go to school and they wilding out, they acting, oh, you don't do that at home? Yes, they do. And if they don't do that at home, they've internalized it at home, and they do it outside of the home because they know they can't do it at home. Why? Because the instructions were given to them not to. Oh yeah, we getting somewhere today. Because now when we go into these relationships and we want to build on on who we want to be with for the rest of our lives, can you deal with the motherfuckers' decision making skills? Me personally, I can't deal with indecisive women, bro. I can't. I can't. Now, this is women love to brag about it. You feel me? Where you want to eat? I don't know. You decide. I just want a man who's gonna lead. I don't want this, that, and the third. My homies, pay attention to that shit. We were wondering why a lot of times the reason why relationships don't work, why men cheat and all of the shit, because women are indecisive. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Inconsistency and indecision walk hand in hand. I'm gonna say it again. Indecision and inconsistency walk hand in hand. An inconsistent man is always going to be reflective of an indecisive woman, and vice versa. Indecisive woman is always going to be reflective of an inconsistent man. Yeah, sit with that. Take all the motherfucking time you need, homie. It works like that. Now, when a man meets a woman that's like, that's why when women be like, oh, he left and went with this chick, and then all of a sudden he got better. No, I was able to be consistent now because she is decisive. It's that simple. Same dudes off the other side with the dudes. Yo, man, she got better with the next dude and everything. She got structure. She just after. Why could she be that with me? Because you was inconsistent. Therefore, she had no reason to be decisive. The shit goes hand in hand. Shit goes hand in hand. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to our decision making skills. So both of those two components are related to your decision making skills. Can you consistently make sound decisions? You feel what I'm saying? Because that's going to lead to those things. So now when women are in these spaces, and my brothers, I need y'all to listen, when they like, oh, I just want a man who lead. They want men to take over and make the decisions like their father was supposed to. A lot of the conversations that we're seeing going on right now are women wanting men to embody the decision making skills that they never got to experience. So all it is theory. All the decision making skills they want out of a man are theory. Like, sit with that, bro. Like some of y'all will get into a whole conspiracy theory thing. Like, nigga, she's literally a conspiracy theorist of decision making skills. She has no knowledge about it. She doesn't know what a decisive man is. She doesn't know what it is for a man to make sound decisions. She's never seen it. The first man who was supposed to make sound decisions was nowhere around. Or the first man who was supposed to make sound decisions consistently failed her. What do you think that's going to make of her? She now has an idea of what she wants decision-making skills to be, and she's going to go around looking for it. Now, she's going to constantly create a standard that she's never experienced. Like, the thing about setting standards is you have to have some kind of experience with the standard. Otherwise, it's wishful thinking. You see what I'm saying? When I'm making a play in whether it be Forex, crypto, stocks, whatever the case may be, I know where the start is and I know where the potential ending area is and I know everything that's in between. So I have a standard of what it is based off the experience of what I have. So I can set an expectation and make a more sound decision according to that. When I don't have any of the information, I'm just throwing my money into the stock market and saying, hey, hope you go up. My decision isn't sound. You see what I'm saying? And so because my decision isn't sound, my standard is off. Because there is no standard. My standard logically is unrealistic because I have no experience required to create the standard. Spinning it back. Same shit, because I don't want to seem like I'm attacking my sisters only. You feel what I'm saying? When you now never seen a decisive mother, or when you basing your reality off the decisions your mother had to make, now you see your women through that lens. So this whole reality of, oh, we got the strong, independent woman. She had to consistently decide to survive for her children. Now that's your standard because that's what you experienced and that's what you're going to give to. Like, you've never seen no peaceful woman. See, a lot of the shit that we be wanting are the decisions that we didn't see our parents make for us. That's the shit that we be wanting out of a significant other. Like healing the mother wounds and the father wounds is real. It's some real shit. It's some shit that really needs to happen. But we don't do that shit because we don't know that that's the problem. And even deeper than that, you can't heal the wound. And this is what I be talking about with forgiveness. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is understanding why the pain was inflicted. When you understand why the pain was inflicted, you get to the core of why this person makes these decisions. It's easy to forgive you when I know why you make decisions. Now, do I have to fuck with you again? No, because I know you make these decisions. And these particular decisions conflict with my reality. I can forgive you, but I got to separate and leave you from afar. You see what I'm saying? Because no matter what I do, your decision-making skills have already programmed you into the position that you're in. For some people, it's hard to change their reality because they made so many decisions in life that they can't erase the past. That's what they mean by that. I can't erase the past. I made so many decisions that led me to this point. I don't know if I can make decisions to make anything better or if I have the time to make the decisions better. When I quit med school, I'm going to keep it 100. When I flunked out, right? And it's a quit flunk out because the first semester I played around. Second semester when I got serious, my grandmother got killed. So it was, you feel me? My decision to play around the first semester affected my decision the second semester. You feel me? Those decisions affected my reality the second semester. Had I done what I was supposed to do that first time, I still wouldn't have went back to med school. The decision was the decision. But one of the things that we do is, and this is when it comes into the conceptualization of deities. A lot of times when we change our lives, when we go into a new point, our new decisions are going to conflict with reality. My decision to leave med school was, I was 24 years old. So I have 24 years of decisions that led me to this point. So to immediately decide against all of that, that's when the devil comes in. A lot of times I don't think we really understand what like devils and gods really are. And like I said, these are the results of our decision-making skills. And so a lot of people, the moment they say, hey, I'm ready to change my life. Yeah, you can do that. Start making necessary decisions, but you got to realize how many decisions you made that led you up to the life that you want to change right now. Sit with that. It wasn't a God. It wasn't a devil. Now, because it happened because of over time, now the decisions that that happened to you 6-7 years ago that you keep reliving, those decisions that you keep making, that root of that decision that you keep making, now you believe it's a deity involved in your life instead of you. This is what I'm saying. Deities are the highest conceptualizations of our minds. They told us this. They tell us this on a regular basis, whether you call it Christ consciousness, Whether, you acknowledge that we're two or three come together in my name, whatever it is how well your minds can come together to decide on some shit. That's what deities are. Always have been. Study whatever religion you want to. That's what you're going to get to in the core when you actually break down the mythology behind this shit. Now, the angels and the demons, they're our genius and how we choose to use them, good or bad, how we choose to make our decisions. Some of us have never made a decision a day in our life because our decisions were always made for us. Our parents are not designed to make decisions for us. They to teach us how to make decisions, but they don't know how. They don't know how to make decisions for themselves because they follow the decisions that that other people have made for them all their life. So when I tell people and I ask people, do you really know what you know? Back to conscience. Do you really know what you know, or do you only know what you've been told? And you've been told it so long that it's predicated all of your decisions. Sit with that. Because chances are that's the case. Not to be derogatory, not to be disrespectful, not to shit on anybody, but that's the case. The life that we live is based off the decisions that somebody else programmed within to us. And we created decisions according to making sure that we were obedient to that person. So in the grand scheme of it all, how does it translate within us? Well, it translates to us to going to live a life according to decisions that please this person, to the decisions that make sure that this person doesn't punish me for doing anything. Like, our parents teach us to act right, but they teach us is just don't embarrass me. Like, your life is about not embarrassing your parents. So what do you think that translates to when you create any relationship with people? Make the decisions not to embarrass me. Sometimes you're gonna embarrass a motherfucker with the decisions that you make. Case in point, leaving med school, I've embarrassed a lot of motherfuckers. I've embarrassed them so much so that it's because I was the pride. They was, yo, I set the standard for the family. They didn't realize I just set a whole different standard. But in that regard, it was, you're the one who was going to go to school. You're the one who went to med school. You're the one who did all these different things. And it's like, yo, I want to do it too. Like, motherfuckers, like, you can't compete with what I am because I'm doing it because I decided to. And the wild part about decisions, and this is something that I had to come to terms with and live with, a lot of people are afraid of decisions that you make because it sheds light to the fact that they know they're not able to make decisions. You see what I'm saying? There's people right now stuck in situations that they know that they're supposed to get out of and want to get out of, but they can't make the decision to do it because of the way in which the decisions led up to. So this is what I was talking about with the med school thing and all of that. Like, that decision to walk away from that shit still carry residual effects. See, the moment you make a solid decision, you got to keep making those decisions to rewrite your mind, right? Your spirituality, your spirit already said, all right, bet. This is what they mean when they say it already happened in the spiritual realm and it already happened in the mental realm. It just hasn't transpired in the physical realm. That bridge stops and the shit fucks up in the spiritual and the physical realm as it's trying to manifest through because of decisions. Because you have it in you've already changed spiritually. You've already decided to change mentally. However, the physical action has not, the decisions in the physical space have not fully changed to align you with something different. So you keep doing dumb shit. It's dumb shit now because you know it's in conflict with the new decisions that you're trying to make. But you still gotta fix that shit. You feel me? You can't order new furniture into your house with the old furniture still in there. You gotta you gotta get that furniture out, clean up the new space. You gotta make sure everything's cool for the new furniture to come in. What they teach us is that the moment you decide to make a new decision, you just leave all the old furniture. You don't clean shit. You don't have to do anything different to accommodate the new changes that are coming with the decisions that you're making. They don't teach us that. And because they don't teach us that, when the friction happens between two conflicting realities, because you're shifting timelines. This right here is what they mean when the cosmic people, the spiritual people, all these say, we're in a different timeline. Decisions have been made to create a new reality. That's what they mean. That 5D shit, all of that shit, like to the core, this is what it is. You have to, when you shift into 5D, you making a decision to shift from the old reality that you were in. Here's why that's a problem. Because the way in which they programmed us, they taught us this, like, this is why you got to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, because they know once you lock into this job, once you're in debt, you are not going to decide to shift your reality because you can't. Because the moment you make that decision that I want to do something different, You still have to clean up everything that's there. These other decisions that you made have solidified your life. Your life is solidified according to decision. You feel what I'm saying? So now, this is the point that I was getting at, and I was tying it to the religious side of it all, because moment you start making decisions, people are like, oh, the devil is busy. I left this. I watch people who left the church or whatever the case may be, and I'm gonna do tarot, I'm gonna do all of this shit. They made a decision to change their reality. However, they did it wrong because they didn't understand that it was decision making that was required. So they didn't study or learn anything. For one, they didn't even leave a religion that they knew or understood. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I talk about there's 4 levels of the mind: the belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. A lot of motherfuckers don't understand what they walked away from. You feel me? I'm experiencing this myself, where I have people who are still like, yo, this is not a phase. You really like this. Yeah. Why? Because I understand the shit. You feel me? They're like, well, I was there when I was your age, and I had to leave. I didn't leave the church. See, that's where you fucking up. I didn't leave the church. I understood the religion. We're two totally different people. Now, this is when shit gets fucked up for a lot of people, because when somebody tells you about their experience, they're not telling you about their decisions. You feel what I'm saying? So they're telling you the entire experience, but not the decision of that experience. You feel what I'm saying? So like I was saying, with the people who went into tarot and all this, now they're making, I watched them, they make the YouTube video. Now, some of these motherfuckers did lose their shit. And I'm going to tell you why. Because again, decisions of extremes. Now you go into a realm where you're calling yourself certain things, where you're affirming certain shit, and you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. Your mind does get wrapped up and it does get lost because you have X amount of years of decisions that led you to one point and you suddenly made a drastic turn. Now it's safe. I'm going to clean all of this shit. I'm not cleaning nothing up. I'm just going to go back and leave it where it is. As opposed to, damn, I got to fix my past. You feel me? I was just having a conversation with somebody about this, and I was like, yeah, it took me some time to get to this point with everything that I have in motion, but I knew that I had to clean up what I fucked up before. I had to clean up all of the shit that I had that led me up to that point. And I was like, I became an entrepreneur between 25 and 26 years old. I started to study esoteric science. I started studying all these things at about 24, 25 years old. That means there's 24 to 25, up to 26 years of shit, of decisions that I've had and programmed within my life up until that point. That don't go away in no 2 to 3 years. You see what I'm saying? I remember one time I was dealing with this woman and shit, and I'm telling her, like, and these are things that I'm starting to understand in hindsight, that, yeah, this is about decision making. But I'm telling her, like, yo, baby girl, we're not in the same pocket. So it's like, she tells me, I'm like, yo, you're not ready for it. So she texts me the very next day, yeah, I meditated, I healed, I'm good. Nigga, no, it don't work like that, yo. I'm like, so what'd you do? Like, tell me the meditation that you just uprooted everything, because her decisions was fucked up. And she's asking me as we talking, she's like, as I had to cut her off, and I don't want to say cut her off in a negative way, but I had to, like, this is what it was. I had to, like, yo, we're not in the same place, and I had to let her down. She was like, why can't I get it right? Your decisions, you don't decide to get it right. You make a conscious decision every day to do the shit that you're doing. And that's the result you get. And that's the reality, because a lot of people don't pay attention to the results. Everything happens for the reason. Yeah, the reason is the results of your decision. That's the reason. The reason is your decisions, and the results are your decision-making skills. When you constantly keep running into the same situation, it's because of your decisions. You feel me? When I was out hoeing and shit, like before celibacy and all of this shit, like, I had bad bitches all the time. Why? Because I decided to get bad bitches. I knew it came with the shit. The problem is I didn't really know about the accountability piece of it all, but I was making the decision to put myself in a position to have a bad bitch. I had to dress a certain way, I had to drive a certain car, I had to look a certain, like, there's things that you have to do. You feel me? But when you finally get into a point of, yo, I decided this is the life that I want, you have to deal with that. You have to decide. Now, deciding towards the life that you want, if it's against the life that you had, you still have to clean up the life that you had. So those decisions, they're going to still come back and get you. Case in point with me watching Power. I'm rewatching Power, and I'm like, y'all, none of this shit would have happened if y'all would have just let Ghost get out the game. The shit, it was like by season 5 and shit, towards the end of season 5, that's when Tasha was like, she's out of the game. Wow. This man said he wanted to get out of the game, but you kept saying you wanted him to be the biggest goddamn drug dealer in New York. Like, if they would have let Ghost out of the game, everybody would have been good. Motherfuckers would still be alive. You feel what I'm saying? But they wouldn't let him out of the game. He had decided, and they're like, well, why did he cheat on Angie? Because this is a perfect alignment point. As he opened truth, he had decided to leave the drug game. That same, I don't think it's very intricate, and I don't know if they wrote this in the scene, but this is how it plays out. It's very intricate how the moment you decide against an old life and start towards the new life, the life that aligns with that comes. You see me? Towards the end of season 6, he was like, yo, I would have had this life anyway. The person with Angie and all this stuff, like that shit would have happened if he would have decided to go to Choke with her. He decided not to stay in the hood with Tommy. Decisions. He didn't have to. Like, you could have made whatever decision you wanted to make. You feel me? I tell the story about when I was 17 years old, and this is a different, I had a lot happen at 17 years old. But this isn't the 200th episode about 17 years old. But this is the decision when my homies was like, because after that situation, after the 200th episode, when I looked at that, I went back and I was like, yo, I got to make better decisions, my nigga. So this is Halloween night. And all of the homies like, yo, we about to go trick or treat. Nigga, I'm 17. Nigga, we all ain't no trick or treating, nigga. I said, I'm going home, bro. So I told my young boy, I was like, hey, yo, bro, leave out. Nah, man, we just gonna go have fun. All right, nigga, I'm going home. I'm going home. I knew something in me said, if I decide to do this shit, because I had to look at it like this. If I decide to do this shit and y'all go do some dumb shit, I'm the oldest. I'm gonna be the one who's gonna be looked at like, you could have talked him out of it. Instead, you talked him into it. Like, nah, fuck that. You're not putting that shit on me. So I went home. All the niggas caught an armed robbery charge with a fucking BB gun. Robbed a motherfucker at an ATM for fucking like $250. Cause you got limits at the ATM. You can't take out no more than like $240, $260 or some shit at the time. So they robbed a motherfucker at the ATM, and then the motherfucker that seen him, the witness that seen him, was my fucking cousin. Now, this when shit gets intricate. Because this is what I mean by decisions, and this is how powerful decisions are. Because we get so wrapped up in the ego and we don't anticipate anybody else out in the world to us, especially like all right, we look at our circle, but we don't look at the globe. We don't look at the sphere of the world. And what I mean by that is that when I'm trying to make sure I get the timeline right. So let's say the decision, remember how I was mentioning how the decisions of your parents are ultimately what led you into your space, right? They created you, but how many decisions did your parents have experienced? Could your parents have experienced within the time before you even conceived? You feel me? From my own perspective, I'm explaining like this before I dive heavy into this. My mom was 29 and my dad was 33 when I was born. That simultaneously is 29 years of decisions and 33 years of decisions. And then they were married for like 9 years. So they had 9 years of collective decision making skills that were still affected by their own individual decisions. You see what I mean? And then by the time I was born, a lot of their decisions were predicated upon already having 2 kids, right? 2 kids prior to me. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's important, because in this moment, when I flash back to the homies and shit, when they went and they seen the person that told on them and shit was my cousin. Like, and I'm like, damn, she ain't hold no water. I'm glad I wasn't with y'all niggas, bro, because she would have told on me too. Not only that, it would have, got back to my family and shit like that fast, and it would have went that before it even got to the charges and shit. People would be like, yo, we got better choices. Sometimes we don't have better choices because we only have our decisions, because we only know what decisions we can decide on. So can you really say a motherfucker, like, I used to say that shit to my homies and shit, like, nah, we got the same, we don't have the same choices. Like when people say we got the same 24, we don't have the same 24 because we have all our own individual ability to decide on shit. That doesn't fit within the universal construct. I don't give a fuck what system they put you in. I don't give a fuck how. At the end of the day, you still got your own individual mind, and your ability to decide is not the same as anybody else's. So the reason why I'm saying that is because in this moment, this just 5 friends. We all at different ages. You feel what I'm saying? All come from different parents of their decisions. In this moment, we had one decision that was supposed to align. And that was go out that night on Halloween night and do whatever. One decision predicated upon the life of decisions that we made up until that point. So For me to decide against it and them to decide for it shows where their decisions had already been aligned to, and shows where my decision was now aligned to. I said, I'm not being no street dude no more. I'm not doing that stupid shit, because these things are not fruitful for our lives. But they constantly make us decide to do this shit. You feel what I'm saying? So in that moment, although that moment was a decision just between friends that were just, yo, we chilling, we gonna make it. Think about everything that led up to that point for that decision to be able to coalesce. Because as the book says, when two or three come together in my name, I will be there. And I know people, well, that God can't be there if y'all was going to go rob somebody, everything like that. The highest conceptualization of the mind was there. That's what deities are. And the lingering effect of deities are the consequences of our actions. So in that moment, the collective experience was choosing to use our genius energy for some negative shit. We knew we was gonna go wild out. I knew they was gonna go wild out. I'm like, nigga, and I didn't. And the reason why I knew, I said something ain't right, because when you have that innate feeling that, yo, something just ain't right, and you're in a certain situation, because you understand the decisions that created this reality. Without acknowledging or truly observing it, you're coming to terms with the reality that you understand the decisions that created this perspective right now. So when you feel that something ain't right, it's because you have observed the decisions that led to this point. You see what I'm saying? Whether you are conscious of it or not, you have known knowns, known unknowns, unknown knowns, and unknown unknowns, all predicated off somebody's fucking decisions. So now let's broaden this web a little bit. The decisions for my homies at that moment to go say, hey, we're going to go do this, that, and the third, walk down. For the decision for that lady to need some money at that point and go to that ATM, everything connects. You see what I mean? Everything connects. And when we start, and this is just a small piece of that, because in that lady choosing to go, now this is how crazy it is, because my cousin was in the bingo hall that night or whatever the case may be. You feel me? In that moment, this is how all of these things aligned according to decisions. That woman at that particular time needed to go to the ATM. Who knows what part of town she was on, where she was when she decided I need to go to the ATM. But she went to that motherfucker. You feel me? My homies, when we split up, they went and made a decision to get masked. Matter of fact, that's when I split up from them, because we went and they started stealing. I'm like, yo, y'all stealing masks? All right, I'm going home. I'm going home because I already know what it is. I got money, so I don't need, but I'm not buying no mask because I already know what it is. We black men nah, fuck that. I'm going home. You feel what I'm saying? So my decision to go home, everything still, there's decisions that are keeping these webs in motion. The decisions can either fuel it or stop it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get back to relationships. I want to use this because it's very extreme and it's very dramatic on how well decisions work. So keep in mind the parenting part that I talked about, which predicates the decisions we make. Now keep in mind that the friends. Now keep in mind the web that's coming too. But keep in mind all that I mentioned about decisions. My homies then made a decision before they even hit that lick with that lady. They went into the bingo hall. Right. My cousin had the decision to go work at the bingo hall that night. At that particular time when she seen them. You feel what I'm saying? They left outside of the bingo hall and went to the ATM and did what they did. They split up. You feel what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm going to show you how intricate decisions really are. One of the dudes that was implicated with my homies, we ain't really fuck with him heavy like that. He was just like a +1 or some shit. So he wasn't really a crew member, but he didn't know my real name. When we first moved to North Carolina, I made the decision to stop going by Racine and go by Curtis. Right now, I was gonna do something to this little nigga, bro. I was gonna really do something to this little nigga because I knew it was him that told on me. Because when the police was talking to one of my homies, they said, "Can you tell us about Curtis McGee?" They know my real name. They wouldn't have said Curtis. Now, am I saying that I was futuristic enough to print? No. There's certain decisions that you make that no matter what happens, it's going to reverberate and it's going to have a lasting effect at some point. You see what I'm saying? Now, also, in changing my name to Curtis, like, motherfuckers who know me as the hoe, That's what you know me as. Like when you if you go to my high school, you go to middle school and shit, you go to when I was actually home, they think my first name is Curtis and it ain't. But yeah, that's my middle name. But that's what they think it was. But I'm saying that to show the lasting effects of decisions. I was in the fourth grade when we moved to North Carolina and I made a decision to change my name to Curtis. Something resonated when I was 17 years old because of that decision to say, because this person was about to tell on me, but gave the wrong name. Intricacies. It's very, very small details and intricacies. But now, those decisions of the durations of our lives coalesced into that point to where they ended up catching an armed robbery charge and I didn't. But because they had a decision that I didn't have. When they were going to jail, it was for drug charges and shit. You feel what I'm saying? I was facing life on some other shit. So my decision to say, like, those little taps on the hands, like, y'all get caught with this, y'all could throw it, y'all could do like, and they was all under 18. So it's like y'all gonna get, it ain't that serious considering what they was. And then they had a BB gun at that. So I guess they didn't feel like it was really gonna be an armed robbery charge, but it was. But all of that is the result of decisions. And I'm saying that because when we go into the relationships with motherfuckers, we be thinking, oh, you cute. You gonna give me some cute babies. Can you do this, that, and the third? What you gonna do with that? Because now your decisions are tied to your will. You see what I'm saying? So when you go into your situations and you go into your relationships and you trying to build with somebody, like how well are you able to observe their decisions? And that's going to be predicated upon how well you're able to be accountable and responsible for your decisions. As long as you feel like your decisions came from an outside source, you're going to have a problem. When my grandmother got killed, you feel me? Everybody is like, I don't know why this happened. This, that, and the third. We don't know why it happened, but I do know that there's a string of decisions. This is a lot of people say this is morbid for thinking like this, but this helped me forgive the situation. This helps me forgive a lot of shit because I understand how pain was inflicted. Because sometimes we have to look at the overall picture. The reason why I gave that small detail, because how many things on a regular basis you just going to get some food and it's 18 motherfuckers on the road? Like, look how many decisions are circling you at one time. When you're not even, look how many decisions in the world are circling around you and you oblivious to them as you're going to make a decision right now. Don't even see it. You feel me? That accident happened because this man left the house because he was angry because his wife was tripping. She was tripping because he forgot to turn the stove off and burnt the motherfucking food. You feel what I'm saying? Now he's going to run into another man who just lost his auntie. So he's sad or whatever the case may be. They meet at the stoplight. Neither one of them are paying attention. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, Forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, Forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? Sometimes we don't know how deep decisions can really affect us. So when it came to my grandmother being killed, it hurt. It was bad. But then as I started to analyze it, like I said, this is why I gave the 300th episode. I've already been on the other side. I've already been given certain gifts and skills and certain understandings that a lot of people don't have. And it helps me a lot because a lot of people wanted me to be sad longer. I'm like, no, I understand. I understand. Like, what you mean? Because it's a decision. Everything aligned with the decisions, and this is the outcome of those decisions. I can't get mad and say the devil was busy. I can't get mad and say God did this. I can't do those things anymore because I realized that it's all based of our decisions. So here's what I mean by that. The lady was driving up the wrong way. You feel me? My grandmother happened to be walking down the alleyway. And I get it. Okay, she shouldn't have been going up the one way and everything like that. What was the decision making? I don't know. But all I can do is say, whatever it was that led her to decide to do that. Now, when it comes to the reality, she owned the lot. She owned the lot. Like you can drive on your shit however you feel you want to drive on your shit. You don't anticipate you're gonna run a elderly lady over and pin her against the wall. You feel what I'm saying? You don't. But at the same time, my grandmother, she's walking as she always does. She decides to walk the same way. Like there's so many things that's all based off decisions. This is not to undermine or downplay anything that this lady did or whatever the case may be. But when you truly get into your spiritual practice and you truly understand it, you understand that your life, entire life, comes down to decisions. You see what I'm saying? Even if you study it biblically, this is why they have rites of passage by 12 and 13, because once you get to 12, your decisions are yours, not anybody else's. But the problem with that is that once we get to a certain point, we don't teach our children the art of decision making. We don't teach our children the art of understanding decisions. We teach them to be obedient to us so they make decisions that please us. And they've been doing it for so long. Now they go into situations and they go into relationships to make decisions to make the person happy. So when we say, why do people lie? Why do people manipulate? Because my decision making skills are taught to make people like me. That's a liar. We always look at lies just solely as deception and and deceitful shit and always for the negative. Everybody's making decisions to be good. Nobody's making decisions to do what's necessary because not many people know what necessary is. You feel what I'm saying? I know it's kind of heavy. I know it's kind of deep. You feel me? Because it's like, yo, I didn't make these decisions. Sometimes you are the product of somebody else's decisions because of the decision you made to allow them in. You see what I'm saying? I was just making a post about nice guys finishing last and how the reason why it's funny because one of my homies was telling me they were saying that nice is etymologically was right. You're like nice, it's also and etymologically means stupid. Yeah, it do. Stupid guys do finish last. But the point is, I was using nice because niggas be thinking they nice and shit. You're making the decision to be deceptive. You're making a decision and you don't know you're being deceptive because you're following a trend of being a certain way, of behaving a certain way, and making a string of decisions to get this particular result. And that result doesn't happen because you don't understand that there's somebody else making decisions to prey on that. And this is what I was meaning by that. We get into these situations where women become bitches and hoes because it be nice guys, because you teach that men are the hunters and shit like that, but it be nice guys preying on predators. They don't know that they're preying on a predator because, oh, it's a woman. It's a woman. Not all women are submissive, bro. I be saying it all the time. Women aren't designed to be submissive. Women don't even want to be submissive. You feel what I'm saying? Some of them still want to be a predator that has a predator to feast for them, to get the food for them. They don't talk about that side of it, but you feel me? When you are the nice guy and you quote unquote finish last, is because you created a string of decisions and your decisions aligned with the decisions of a motherfucker who was gonna hunt you. Like, you feel what I'm saying? When because I happen to be fortunate enough to be the dark side and the predator first, when it was coming to like, there was a lot of women. When I got woke and shit, they didn't know that I was from the streets. They didn't know that I was from the hood. They didn't know that all of the shit that I suppressed was still there. So they try to treat me like a lick. Oh, peace king, this, that. You can't do that shit with me, baby. I know what a predator looks like. I know what a hunter looks like. I'm a hunter. Just because I'm not hunting anymore doesn't mean I'm not a hunter. So I know what a hunter looks like. You feel what I'm saying? And it's because of the decisions that we make. I understand that you're doing this out of survival. I know what survival looks like. I understand these things. But for the longest, I didn't understand that it was the decisions that we made. Now, here's where we started getting the chakra shit. Because when you understand this, just the first three chakras, I'm not even going to go into the higher ones. We just use the root chakra, sacral chakra, and solar plexus chakra. The root is blocked by fear. The sacral is blocked by guilt or onus, and the solar plexus is blocked by shame and pride. The decisions we make lead us down those paths. Unfortunately, we're in a society that teaches us that every decision we make, we should feel guilty for. So if you feel guilty for every decision you make, you're going to feel ashamed of yourself. You create a mentality, a personal identity that is shameful, based off the fact that you follow decisions of shame. Now, when you followed and you've been given the decision making to follow that is shameful, what do you think you're going to become? So now when you don't feel that shame, people will tell you, oh, you're arrogant, you're this, that, and the third. You need to be humble. Why do you, why do I have to make the decision to make myself insignificant? See what I mean? Not only that, why do I have to just go through the life aloof without understanding why I'm making my decisions and thinking that none of the decisions that I'm making are ever my fault? Think about that. It's something that I learned is that I grew up hearing people say shit like, just friends, foes, it didn't matter. They'd be like, yo, you don't say no when that motherfucker do it. Why does it matter why does it matter what I do? When I was in the 7th grade, I had a teacher tell me that. Like this white boy, I ended up punching him in the eye towards the end of the year because he kept fucking with me. He kept calling me boy, bro. I had a problem with that shit. And so my teacher would always say, it doesn't matter what he says, it's how you respond. It doesn't matter what you. I learned then, but I'm learning now that then he was teaching me about decisions. It's all on what your decision is after that. It doesn't matter what his decision is to fuck with you. It matters what your decision. But I'm like, yo, his decision to fuck with me is fucking with me. You feel me? I'm like, why you don't say anything to him? He said, because I deal with him later and shit. Like I said, he set me up. That same teacher set me up. I ended up punching that boy in his face because the teacher told me to tell him to pick. The teacher made the decision, knowing that there was a lot of volatility between these two students. He said, go tell him to pick up these paper clips. Knowing now, see, the thing about decisions, you don't know what decisions another motherfucker's going to make. This is going to circle it back and bring it back into the relationships after I say this point. You don't know what decisions the decision that I had to make is I'm going to eventually fuck him up because he keeps fucking with me. That decision was already in my head because the mindset was already there. This guy's mindset was his mindset. The reason why he made the decisions he made because his mindset was, I don't respect this person. I don't give a fuck about this person. I don't have to listen to this person. This person is nothing to me. I understood that. The teacher didn't understand and the teacher didn't understand that I understood that. So when I told him, hey, pick up these paper clips, I poured them out, walked up to him, hey, pick up these paper clips. Boy, I'm not picking up. I pushed him, stuck him in the eye. I got rolled up. He got rolled up. And the teacher, you feel me? When he came to the in-school suspension room, he was like, so what'd you boys get? You set me up. You set me up. In hindsight, I could look back at that situation and say, you know what? You never know what somebody, like this is where intention comes in. You never know what someone's intentions are with the decisions that they make, but you got to pay attention to their decisions still because their decisions will always reveal their intentions. Now, granted, in hindsight, it's like, yo, he was trying to set me up, but my teacher was really at that time, he was trying to get me to control my anger. His intentions were good. I can look back and say his intentions were good, but still, I didn't know his intentions for the decision because I was too young to understand the intentions. All I knew was the decision that I was going to make when this shit popped off. So when I say cycling it back to relationships, fuck looking for who can be the best. Like, look who makes decisions that align with your decisions. Because I only used a few examples. I can go rabbit holes on examples, but I'll be having this podcast forever because of this. When we look at decisions, right? The decisions you make are going to affect the rest of your life. The girlfriend that I was with at the time, her decision, because this is what I was saying, like, she told me, yeah, when I cheat, it's because I want the relationship to be over and I want it. Like, that was it. I knew so when you told me what your decision was, your intention was already revealed to me. Whether you want to change it up and sugarcoat and say, I didn't mean for this to happen. Like when people say shit like, that wasn't my intention to do, then why'd you decide to do it? That answers that question. You feel me? Because we're taught to manipulate situations in our favor since we were kids, because, make sure your decisions show your obedience to me. We're taught to manipulate situations in our favor. So we talk a certain game and we say shit like, you feel me? It wasn't in my intention to do that, but you did it. Like it wasn't your intention, but it wasn't your intention, but you made the decision to do it. Then how wasn't it your intention? That means you don't even know what your intentions are. That's even more dangerous. Because you don't even know what your intentions are. You made a decision based off intentions you are oblivious to. You feel me? You didn't want to get caught. That's the reality of it. But you did. And the reason why, and I feel like the only reason why she told me, yeah, she wanted to be over. But the real reason why she told me was because she got pregnant and we wasn't fucking. Decisions. Fucking decisions, my nigga. We both agreed to make the decision to be celibate or whatever. Because her thing was, I'm gonna be sinning against God and this, that, and the third, and I don't want to do that shit. I'm like, cool, I respect it. When you're ready to start fucking again, we'll start fucking again. What you gonna do about? No, I'm with you, so you ain't gotta worry about me fucking nobody else. Blah blah blah. And I meant that. You feel what I'm saying? But there's situations ahead of my time that made celibacy easy for me. Now, mind you, I'm 21, about 21 at the time. So I had already like practiced celibacy with her. We like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's cool for me because I know how to make certain decisions because I know what the ultimate goal is. I know that every decision that I make has a result to it. You feel what I'm saying? So I made this decision, then she gets pregnant. I never forget the feeling. Boy, I understand how dudes be feeling when they girl tell them or they side piece tell them, hey, yo, I'm pregnant or whatever the case may be. When she told me I'm pregnant, I was like, okay. Like, like it was one of those things like, what are you telling me for? And my conversation with her was like, are you really just trying to piss me off that much? That was my thing. Because you're not telling me because it's mine. Because you know we wasn't fucking. You feel what I'm saying? I said, hey, well, shit, wish you the best of luck. I don't know what to tell you. You gonna keep it? And like, I don't know. I think I am gonna keep it. I don't know what I'm gonna do because so like now you fucking with me. So now when you tell me we should get back together, whatever the case may be, I'm sorry. I can't believe that. Look at the decisions that you made up until this point. You feel me? Look at the decisions that you made as a person up until this point. But even deeper than that, running it back to when we first started talking, I saw all of those decisions at the very beginning. All of them. We be looking at red flags. It's like, yo, the red flag, I get it. That's why I was talking about the universal red flag. I kind of drifted off. But I get it. We look at the red flags and shit, but because we don't realize what's a red flag to us, we don't pay attention to decisions of other people. Because we looking at the universal red flag. If the motherfucker do this, he's like this. If the motherfucker do that, she's like that. You talking about a universal red flag when motherfuckers ain't universal. And this is one of the reasons why I was always on some shit like, wow, this is one of the reasons why I was able to look beyond the quote unquote red flags with people. You feel me? Same girlfriend that ended up having all of the bodies. And it's like, yo, you got the same amount of bodies as me. Because in my decision making skills, I was always fucking quality. I was always actually fucking good quality women. Like my decision was always, and I wasn't just out here slanging dick for nothing. I was really fucking with these women like that. We were talking, we never crossed the line as girlfriend and boyfriend, but hey, it was what it was. Those are the women who were hunters too. Most of my time was fucking hunters. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a hunter fucking hunter. That's why we was able to coincide with friends with benefits. Cause we both hunters and shit. We just taking a little break off from the hunt. Oh my gosh. I killed myself, bro. Oh shit. But yo, it's like that's what it is. So when you come into a space and you saying somebody's like, yo, this is a red flag. This is a red flag. We got a whole slew of social media motherfuckers telling you what red flags are that are based off of the decision making skills that they've experienced. Yeah, on paper it seems like yeah these are the same things, but it's not because it, you have to in order to understand somebody else's red flags, you have to understand their decision making skills. Cause you might do some shit that's different. I used to tell women all the time, I might do some shit that another man did to you, but I don't have his mindset. So it's not gonna be the same shit. So you gonna cut me off for doing some shit that another man did. You feel me? That because that other man did it, you don't know why I did it. It don't matter. It shouldn't, it does matter. It matters a lot because it shows what my decision-making skills are. Because that means if I acknowledge it and I don't, if I'm not intentionally doing it and it happens, then I can make the change. Oh, my bad. That's not something that I meant to do. But if I know it's in my intention to do that to you, I'm not gonna stop it. So when they be like, dudes be like, "Yo, I can't stop cheating. I can't stop." No, because you look at your intention creates your decision making skills. You've already decided to be a cheater. You already decided you never decided against it, my nigga. And now you're trying to be in a monogamous relationship. So now you're trying to convince everybody men are polygamous. No, nigga, you can't decide on one woman. That's it. Same with these women. Oh, I gotta have me a side piece, this, that, and the third. Oh, because you can't decide. You're indecisive. But it comes back overall to the bigger aspect of what our decision making skills really are. We don't address that enough. When we go on these situations, when we go in with a preset notion like, yeah, homie, I'm going on a date. So what am I do on a date? I'm gonna take it. I don't give a fuck about where I go on a date. I don't care. We can go to the moon, we can go to the Mars. I'm gonna look at your decision making skills. And they don't start with what you wore. They don't start with like your decision to do certain shit is like, case in point. I was talking to a woman one time. We were talking for a minute, good conversation, vibing and all of this shit. When I finally ran into her, she wouldn't look me in my eyes. Wouldn't look me in my eyes for nothing. Like, and it's not like, you know what I'm saying? I get it. And my homie told me it's she said, cause it's you're intimidating. Sometimes it's hard to look in your eyes because this, that, and the third. Fuck all that bullshit. Fuck all that bullshit. Nah, I know deception when I see it. I know deception when I see it. This same, you know what I'm saying? I've also dealt with another woman who would say shit like, give me details to the conversations. You feel me? Multiple women have done this to me. They be like, yo, I need details, but then they'll be vague with me. Okay. I don't get mad. I've learned like, and they be like, why do we just stop talking? Because I don't have the reason. Like sometimes y'all can call it ghosting, y'all can call it whatever you want. I don't do it from a ghosting perspective. I compartmentalize you according to your decisions. Because I feel like that's contradictory. You're telling me to do something that you won't do. Huh. It's not necessarily a red flag of that particular thing, but what decision does that come from? What decision can you logically make to where you telling me you can tell me directly, you are being vague with me. I need you to give me more details. And when you're talking to me, you are vague with me and give me no details. Why didn't you? Well, you should ask. No, that should be a standard. If it's a decision, if it's something that you require out of me, that means it should be a decision within you. But if you're requiring out of me without it being a decision in you, there's something off. I don't know what it is. There's something off, and I'll never know. But I know that your decision to be able to request of me what you're not doing for yourself, there's something there. I ain't got no problem with it, but I'm able to observe your decisions. Now, once I see your decisions, now your intentions start to reveal themselves. So you're telling me you want to know everything about me and give me nothing about you. I've dealt with that situation before. Where, like I said, I was all in with this particular woman, and then she tells me 6 7, now I'm ready to go all in with you. Nigga, what? I'm already in this motherfucker. I can't walk away from it. Your decisions. But I learned that you can't really have decision, but that showed me right there that that decision is a problem. You see what I'm saying? So back to the woman that I was talking about, like she wouldn't look me in my eyes and for nothing. So my homie was like, you should address it. You should tell her, no, because then she's gonna be on her good behavior next time. If I tell her, yo, I didn't like how you didn't look me in my eyes when you see it. No. I have to observe if this is something she does because that means that that's her intentional decision making skills. So it's like when you are not looking me in my eyes intentionally, and then when other factors play themselves out intentionally, you making this decision, I got to start paying attention to that. That's when the red flag shows because now I'm looking at, oh, these are your decision making skills. Like, you feel me? I'm big on eye contact. Look me in my eyes when you're talking to me because I'm going to look you in your eyes when I'm talking to you. You feel me? We're going to converse. We're going to get deep into the conversation. We're going to speak to each other. Where I have to see your eyes. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So when you don't want to look me in my eyes, you don't want me to see your soul. That's how I feel. And when I see somebody who's making every attempt to not look at me, they don't want me to see their soul. Why? Because either they're ashamed of what they're showing or they're not showing what they're saying, which is deception. I don't give a fuck about your favorite color. I don't give a fuck about your favorite food. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. You feel me? I give a fuck about your decisions. And I've gotten so sensitive to it. Not in a sense of like I'm emotional or shit like that, but I've got so sensitively wired to it that all I focus on is people's decisions. I don't even tell them. I don't even tell them. When you decide to not tell me that there's another man in the picture, hmm, what else will you keep from me? Like the decision is like your decisions tell me everything. You feel me? And I get it. Don't get me wrong. This is not to me being on I'm holier than thou. I make fucked up decisions. The same like the same woman that she wouldn't look me in my eyes. I had to realize that our decisions coincided because it was a long time before we actually linked up with each other because of decisions that I was making. Because of decisions where I got to make a decision to make sure that my business model and my shit is done before I can. You feel me? Now, some say that's a respectable decision to make, but sometimes you don't know the intention behind it. You don't really know. All you know is this motherfucker make a decision and I'm not paying attention to it. Oh, he canceled on me again. He turned me down again. He's not doing this and again. Hey, this is what you say that's what you doing, but I don't know. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. But this is the power of decisions. Because now you no longer have to settle. You no longer have to get into and get involved in the engagement in a situation because you're focusing on, oh, can we make cute babies together? Can we do this, that, and the third together? And I think for me, I've learned that my decision making skills are intimidating sometimes because it goes back to a conversation. And again, this is not a horn tutor. This is just an observation. It goes back to a conversation I had when I was talking about how when you decide to do something, you're either going to inspire somebody or intimidate somebody. So for me, I don't talk about what I want to do. I talk about what I will do, and I decide to do it. So when it comes to a person who says this is what I want to do and they haven't decided to do it now, you have to realize that this is where this is the conflict. This person is telling you, you decided you decided to do something that I haven't decided to do, but we are in alignment with the same thing. What does that do? Like really think about what that does to you and that person. Sometimes we be thinking that we compatible with a motherfucker. You can only be compatible with a motherfucker who makes decisions like you make decisions. I don't give a fuck about synastry. I don't give a fuck about equally yoked. I don't give a fuck about none of that bullshit. That shit is corny. Show me your decision making skills. Show me can you solidly make a decision. Show me the decisions you make and let me evaluate you off of that. It'd be like women. Before I say that, let me switch over because I want the women to like this. You got those women who are big money. Niggas be like, yo, she big money. It's that though. You ain't got no time for me. You're showing her that in that moment, like she's looking that you're trying to vilify her for the sound decision she make. You see what I'm saying? Same shit. It's the same shit. And so when we look at women and men who come into these situations, I'm a good man, I'm a good person. What decisions did you make that qualified that? Because niggas be auditing themselves. They be auditing themselves. Like I just seen this post and this dude was like, yo, y'all think y'all always right and blah, blah, blah. He said, because y'all audit yourselves. Y'all think y'all are good women because y'all said y'all are good women. What decisions did you make that the universe can reverberate out into the world to show that you are a good person? You feel what I'm saying? What decisions have you made in this world to qualify you as a good person? When I look at my aunt, this is my spiritual practice. I study the tenets of my aunt. I practice African spirituality from that regard. But even deeper than that, what it all teaches you is your decisions. The decisions that you made in this life, does it end up with you having a heart that you can weigh against a feather? Like people be like, yo, did you behave well? Fuck how you behave. I don't give a fuck how you are in public. I don't give a fuck how you behave. Show me your decisions because your behavior is nothing to me. The person that you currently are right now, that is the result of your decisions. Do you like that motherfucker? If you are always in regret, if you are always in worry, like when we meet and when we link and we talk and shit, and every time it's always, oh, woe is me. You don't even like the decisions you make for yourself. Miserable people, bitter people, angry people, people that are on the negative feeling side of the spectrum, they do not like the decisions they make for themselves. or they do not like the decisions that were made for them. Motherfuckers that have a higher disposition in life, a more peaceful life, a more happy life, a more enjoyable life, they are comfortable with the decisions that they've made for themselves. You feel what I'm saying? And we don't realize that the decisions of the motherfuckers that surround us, all of this shit affects us. I was engaging with a woman and she was telling me that, she was like, yo, how do you feel about prenups? I feel wonderful about prenups. Thank you for asking and me not having to do the shit. She was like, because she told me about the other side of the prenup. She was like, because sometimes women have to take that hit too. If a man has debts and everything and they get married, I said, oh, I said, I respect that. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, but I respect that because at the end of the day, I'm not bringing none of my debts on to any woman. Like they're mine. They're not. No, I would never do no shit like that. I said, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Even if I did, if I left the world too early, I would have already had things in place to where it's like, I bet the shit that I've created can compensate that. You feel me? All of the books that I wrote, all of the shit like that. I said, but it's gonna be upon her to know how to. I'm gonna teach her the mastering and all of. I mean, not mastering, the marketing, the branding, all of that shit, the advertising to keep this shit in motion. Because it's like, if something were to happen to me, you have to keep me going. You feel what I'm saying? And she respected that. I respected that because I was like, I never seen the other side of that shit because nobody really talks about that shit. But it was cool. It was cool. But at the same time, it was based off of the fact that her experience, became the decisions of motherfuckers that she witnessed go through that shit. Like your decisions to bring this month, like nah, because that's what we really looking for when we engaging with motherfuckers. When we actually doing the talking, show me what your decisions are like. I haven't met a woman yet. You feel me? Yes, I have. I met a couple. I haven't met many women who weren't appreciative of my decision making skills. You feel me? I have also, but let me say that because I did meet women who didn't like them. Because you have to take all the decision making skills. You can't just take the ones that are beneficial to you. And I think that's one of the things that fucks us up as people because we go into these relationships, we go into date, and we all this shit to see what do I like. What do I like? Stop going to. You ain't 7, nigga. The fuck? What do I like? I like pizza and chicken tenders. Like no, get out of that shit. See how your decisions are. You want to get into relationships, you want to get into healthy relationships. I'm gonna show you how to do it right now, right fucking now. And I know, saying you single though. So how you gonna? Cause I'm about to tell you the motherfucking code, motherfucking. This is why I'm single. Listen, you want to get into healthy relationships, you want to get into fruitful relationships. First thing you must do is do an internal scan of your own decision making skills. Are you comfortable with how you make decisions? If that answer is no, get out the dating pool. That's the fucking problem right there. So many people with poor decision making skills are in the dating pool because they're cute, because they're handsome, because they're beautiful. Their decision making skills are fucked up. I had somebody ask me one time, "Would you be with a big girl?" I couldn't. I don't make decisions. I don't make the decisions that lead to obesity. Well, you never know. She could have a gene. I know the decisions of the life that she came from developed the life that led her to be obese. I don't have that. It sounds morbid. It sounds fucked up until you put it into perspective of our decisions. Now, when she decides to change these decisions and moves into a different spectrum, yeah, she's still gonna suffer from the cravings and the things of the addictions that developed from the decisions that were predicated upon her that made her blow up. Because who knows? She's probably obese because when she was young and she used to cry, they didn't have the wherewithal to make the decisions to be solid parents to where they just put a bottle in her mouth and made her eat to shut her up. So in turn, when she gets emotional, when she gets feeling, when she feels these things, she eats. That's the decision. And that was rooted. I ain't got no control over that, but I can't be a part of that because I didn't grow up like that. I don't have that ability to decide that way in my life. You feel what I'm saying? But we're not serious about that. We're not serious enough to look at ourselves and say, do I make fucked up decisions? Chances are, if you've uttered these words, the devil was busy, you make fucked up decisions and you don't even own those decisions because you don't realize that the reason why this situation is transpiring because some shit that I did in the past. That's one of the things that I hate about the religion in my regard, because when it comes to Christians and shit, you hear them say all the time, oh, I want the patience to Job. I want the patience to Job. One thing that Job did, no matter what, I know the story was still fucked up, and I mentioned how fucked up it was, how God killed everything and took everything away from him and gave him the most beautiful kids. The story's fucked up, but if you understand the principle, it makes sense. Job said numerous times, I don't know what I did. And maybe I did something in my past life that I was unaware of that led this to happen. I don't know what decision it was that triggered this shit, but there's a decision that I made a long time ago that eventually led me here. Nobody want to talk about that shit because it's easier to say, oh, nah, that's the devil, nigga. No, even Job in his moment said, nah, nigga, I did something. I know I did something. And again, this go back to what I be saying, motherfuckers like, oh, you don't believe? No, nigga, I understand the shit, nigga. Front to back. For 7 years, I studied this motherfucker. I know this bitch, bro. I'm telling you, I know this shit, bro. But the point that I'm making with that was that in the story of Job, he was adamant about the fact that it was his decision making that is the reason he's in this space right now. It's his decision making. But this is one of the reasons how, when I actually learned to study, I understood the allegory and I met the metaphor, and I was like, oh, gods and devils are our decision making skills. Oh, I got you. That's why you have to have the patience of Job, because Job says eventually the decisions that I made negatively, that impacted my life negatively, I'll eventually get absolved from them. But I can't lose heart. I can't give up and say that I fucked up and just fall and say it's not on me. The whole time this nigga took accountability and responsibility for what he did. Even his homies were telling him, bro, you didn't do shit. I know you don't know what that nigga did. Nobody knows what you decide on except you and the motherfucker that is involved with the decision. How many decisions do you have in this life where people are completely absent to? You see what I mean? This is what I mean. So when you do that internal scan of yourself and you sit with yourself and say, do I make bad decisions? Do I make good decisions? What kind of decisions do I make? Me personally, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm a type of motherfucker to make calculated decisions. Calculated. My decisions are very methodical. When I decide on some shit, or if I speak on some shit, or if you see me do some shit, understand there is a full-fledged system of methodical practice behind that shit. I've had women tell me all for the duration of my life, oh, you're a robot. You a robot. You so mechanical. You just stand there. I'm structured. I'm disciplined, but I make decisions that are sound and factual. Same women were indecisive. Now, you can allow that to affect you. You can allow motherfuckers to their cynicisms or the way they speak against you to affect you, but you have to pay attention to their decisions. Because if that's what you're speaking as a means to insult me, that shows that you don't even lack that skill as in your decision making skills. You feel what I'm saying? But I digress. Once you scan your internal space and you be honest with yourself, do I make good decisions? That's one of the biggest things. A lot of us are pity parties and shit. The shit we beating ourselves up for is because we know we don't make good decisions. Or we are soaking for being the product of bad decisions. You know you can change that whenever the fuck you want to. Again, in studying my art and studying the African spirituality, one thing that I constantly come across is karma stops when you want it to. I never got that. I'm like, yo, nigga, karma is the result of our decisions. Literally, the shit stops when you fucking want it to. Why? Because all you have to do is make different decisions. Now, here's where it gets crazy. And this is why people have the problem. Because karma stops when you change your decisions, but you still have to pay your karmic debts. Walking away from med school and all of that shit, I had to pay those debts, my nigga. Nigga, the karma changed. It was like, yeah, you'll be an entrepreneur. Yeah, you have your books. Yeah, you have your money that you're coming in. You'll be able to trade and everything. Because, nigga, you going to need all this shit to pay that back. Oh my goodness. Cause I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I was contemplating, like in the first couple moments, I was like, yo, I can't just quit because I got too much to do. And a lot of us are in those situations where we can't leave certain shit, but it was like, hey, yo, if you serious about this, you're gonna have to do this. And so from there, that's when I had to become an entrepreneur because I said, there's no way I'm gonna be able to pay this back with a job. So I was like, how can I do it faster? And that's when I learned trading and investing because the doors opened up. The doors opened up, but I had to make that decision. Now, when you make that decision, you change your karma. When you make that decision, you change your karma. However, you still got to pay your karmic debts. You have to. You will pay your karmic debts. It ain't no motherfucker way around that shit. You're going to pay them. And my nigga, you going to pay in full. You gonna pay that whole motherfucking debt, bruh. And it's not you gonna pay every penny. Every penny. But see, that's where the problem comes in because a lot of people realize I'm going to change and now I gotta clean up this karmic debt. I'm not gonna clean up the karmic debt. That's a sure sign of poor decision making skills. So when you do your internal scan on yourself, sit with yourself. Do I make good decisions? Do I still sulk about being a product of poor decisions? You feel me? I can't blame my mama. I can't blame my daddy. I can't blame my grandparents. You feel me? I can't blame none of them for my decisions. You feel me? When my grandmother got killed, that moment it hit me so, and I think this is why I ultimately left med school. Like all of that shit was like, I was like, yo, I got one grandma left. And between my grandparents, there's no inheritance passed down to nobody. It's like, damn, this ain't no disrespectful shot to them because I understand the decisions that they were born of. I understand it because the product of the environment they were born in led to the decisions that they made that ultimately created certain things. But those decisions would eventually lead to me. I have a decision to continue this bullshit or stop it. When I decided I'm stopping this shit, it's like, all right, hey, you want to make this change, you can't do none of the shit that you've been doing because as you've seen from 3 generations, the shit did not work. So what you gonna do it again? Mm-mm. I got to create something totally new. Totally new. You feel what I'm saying? Totally fucking new. But it came with that scan of myself because I had to start looking at my decision-making skills. You feel what I'm saying? Every day you wake up with a chance and a choice, as was it Jay Prince said, you wake up with a chance and a choice, and what you gonna decide to do with that? Now you have to keep in mind when you make this motherfucking decision, it's setting yourself up for a new reality of life. My decision to write 4 books, my decision, like these things are beautiful because it's like, wow, I just gotta run ads now. Now my kids are gonna have a foundational piece to start off with. They not coming in with no bullshit. You feel me? There's a lot of shit that goes into what I'm doing. There's a lot of shit that went into what I'm doing in order to be good at it. You feel what I'm saying? But when we consider these things, I keep jumping around because I'm gonna get to the full point. I get it. I'm passionate. Like this is a very important topic to me because it's very revealing. In the grand scheme of it all, when we understand our decisions, what decisions we naturally make as a person, every day you have to realize, is this decision going to be something for my betterment, or my benefit? I mean, my benefit or my detriment? That's how I live now. I live according to decisions being towards my benefit or my detriment. You feel me? Watch people to see. Now, when you know that, when you are aligned with what is beneficial towards you, these are the decisions that you're going to make. This is where quote unquote alignment comes in. Oh my gosh, you don't just meet people, bro. Everybody right now is making decisions to meet a certain motherfucker. Everybody is making decisions to be in a certain place. The decisions you're making are aligning you to the people that you are making those decisions for. You see what I'm saying? If you're listening to this podcast right now, you've made a bulk of decisions over your life that allowed you to be here to sit and be able to listen to this shit. You see what I mean? You have been in a mentality where your mind wanted to learn certain shit, grow certain shit. I've equally been in a space where I have made decisions that gave me the knowledge to be able to disseminate this information. We didn't meet by accident. We met by the culmination of our decisions. When you realize how important that fucking is in this world, you don't make stupid decisions no more. You become very attentive and intentive with your fucking with your decisions. You become very intentive with them. You realize that, damn, everything that I do is important. Now, this is not to say stress out over it and feel, you know what I'm saying? But you realize how important these intentions are. Every decision that I made has led me to the point to be able to communicate with y'all about this shit. You see what I mean? Every decision. You feel what I mean? Every decision you made has led you to be in a point where you can listen to this. Now, when you share my shit to other people and say, I just can't get it, they haven't created the decisions that they've lived. It doesn't allow them to find this. You see what I mean? That's how intricate this shit is. So now, when you realize that when you realize who you want, dating becomes easy. Like I tell people, every woman that's in my space now, I'm attracted to. It's not a type, it's my attraction because of my decisions. I make consistent decisions that lead me to a specific type of woman. She's always gonna be around. The fuck? What you mean? But I had to realize that it's beyond options at this point now. It's my because I'm not looking at a type. When you're looking at a type, you have options. When you're looking at attraction, it's predicated off your ability to make decisions. Now, when we gravitate towards each other, this is when it gets dangerous. Because when we gravitate towards each other, we vibe and we like it. Now we have to put up a wall because, oh, this might be happening too fast. I feel like it's moving too fast. It's moving the way the decisions allow it to move. But again, if you focus on societal standards, if you focus on the standards in which everybody's telling you, you're following the decisions. Like the advice that you take from motherfuckers is based off the decisions that they didn't make. Sit with that. I've talked to women who will go and tell their homegirls about me and all this shit. I'm like, yo, she's never experienced me. The reason you and I fuck with each other is because our decisions aligned us together. My decisions didn't align me with her. Her decisions didn't align me with. I would not know who the fuck she is if it wasn't for you. But now it makes me wonder, because I know who the fuck she is because of you, how do you two's decisions line together? Case in point, I was involving myself with a woman one time and her friend was fucking off on her husband. So I said, that's your friend? What decisions do you make to where you two motherfuckers are aligned that way? Now I get it. You feel me? You can tell me all day long you ain't that type of motherfucker, but now I have to. That's the red flag. You making a decision to be with a motherfucker who makes a decision to go against her husband. And that's your friend? That's your best friend? Go best friend. That's my best friend. Nah, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Because you two have decisions that align together. I don't know what those decisions are, but my nigga, somehow y'all align on decisions that work like this. You feel what I'm saying? Dating ain't gotta be that hard, bro. Dating ain't gotta be that hard. You just gotta be smart. You gotta be smart enough to understand how you make decisions and understand that all the decisions you made led you to this person you sitting across the table from. Now figure out why. Because the moment you start to, oh, this person's a red flag, this person's a red flag, this person is aligned with your decision making skills. That's how you got their number. That's how you exchange numbers with them. Now you have to ask yourself, are you willing to change? Because you have to realize when you get to the core, y'all have heard me say this before, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna start trying to wrap it up. Every relationship that you meet is either about who you're supposed to elevate from or elevate towards. No in between. So the decisions that you experience and that you come to terms with, they align you with a motherfucker. And you and this motherfucker have to make a decision. Do we grow or do we shrink? Is my alignment with this person designed to make me better or to push me back? When you realize your decisions are changing from what you got to realize, you're what I'm supposed to elevate from. I got to stop fucking with you. Now, when it's like, yo, you making me better, it's elevating too. I've dealt with a lot of women and this is when it comes to their whole religious aspect. Most of the women that are falling into my space right now, they're into astrology, they're into numerology, they're into tarot, they're into esoteric design, human design. They're into all esoteric science and shit, but they have not gone to where I have gone with the esoteric science. They're the big fish in a small pond, but they become the small fish in my ocean. And it intimidates them, but then they have to realize that, oh, damn, you already know this? Damn, you already know this? Damn, because I'm what you're supposed to elevate to. I can be here but you have to make the decision to do that. But because we are in a space where women are taught that men are incompetent, for one, two, women are in a space where it's about reward and punishment. Reward and standards. So you meet my expectation, I reward you. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't make a decision to be on that space with you. I don't want another prey. I don't want another. I can only fuck with hunters. Now, when you come into my space and you want to be a prey and I'm a hunter, I'm going to feast on you, and it's not going to be good for either of us. You feel what I'm saying? But once you do that internal scan of yourself and you realize what your decision making skills is like, be honest with yourself. I knew I had some fucked up decisions. You feel me? I know I still make fucked up decisions sometimes. You feel what I'm saying? But I have to look at overall, what are my decisions like? Sit with that shit. And then you have to start realizing, look at your circle. Look at your circle of people, because y'all's decision making skills are aligned. Do you like all of the people in your immediate circle? I love all the people in my immediate circle. That means I love my decision making skills because we friends. So now when it comes to dating, I can only date and then gravitate towards people that align with the decisions that I made in life and set the tone for the decisions that I'm going to make in life. You feel what I'm saying? If you can't find nobody, you either one are still suffering and still mulling over the decisions that you didn't make, or that you haven't made, or that you're still a product of decisions of somebody else. You're not taking accountability for your own life. And I get it. It's not my fault that I was born in certain situations. You're right. You're right. It's not. But it's still your time to own it and take it. Karma stops when you want it to. Fuck how long you got to pay the karmic debt. Karma stops when you want it to. The karma itself, because it's about your decisions. You'll stop adding on to your negative karmic debt when you change your decisions. So when you get into these situations with these significant others or whatever the case may be in your building, and you're trying to find who it is, stop asking them, I don't give a fuck if you, at this point in my life now, because I've evolved a little more, I don't give a fuck if you're an entrepreneur. I don't give a fuck if you're an employee still. I don't give what decision, how do you make decisions? Because I need to know that you can make decisions in the long run, because now that I understand these things, your decisions are going to affect me. My decisions are going to affect you. Our decisions are going to affect our families. Our decisions are going to affect our kids. Our decisions are going to affect how our kids affect other people's decisions. I think like this now. So when I'm in a space where it's like, yo, I don't chase these hoes. I don't give a fuck about these hoes. Fuck these hoes. I'm not in that space no more. I'm in a space of the alignment of the woman whose decisions work with mine. I'm not tolerating you. That's why with love comes correction. When I see, okay, your raw potential for decision-making skills is beautiful. Let's strengthen that. Mine is beautiful. Let's strengthen that. Together with love comes correction. Let's correct each other into making better fucking decisions. Not to be absolved and to sugarcoat and to ignore and tolerate the decisions we fail to make. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. When I be talking to women and I be trying to shoot my shot at them and shit, I be like, yo, I shoot my shots for stupid shit, but it ain't really stupid shit. It's like, she could be cute, but I might shoot my shot at a woman because I know that she goes to the gym every day. Like, oh, you make a solid decision to be disciplined and consistent. Okay, that makes, so when I'm shooting my shot, I'm addressing that. Yeah, you cute. Yeah, your booty fat. Okay, we know that. Like, I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about your decision-making skills that I watched, that I've seen you do. Like, I've seen the decisions you make. You feel me? And I need you to understand, don't be intimidated by the decisions don't be intimidated by the results that you see me have because you still have the same decision-making skills that I have. I know, because my results are the product of the very decisions that you make. You're just not using them in the way that I'm using them. You see what I'm saying? When we get into that intimidation, inspiration mentality, is because we're looking at it from the surface level and not the decision-making skills. I know who I align with. Every woman that I align with is aligned with my decision-making skills. I love the decision I make. Therefore, I know I'm going to love that woman for the rest of my life. The problem is, and the issue is, whether or not she understands that it's decision-making skills that I'm attracted to. So when we are in a space where we are communicating with each other, when we are going on these dates and we are trying to figure out somebody, you don't need to be going on a date if you don't know what your decision-making skills are. If you don't trust your decision-making skills, you don't need to be going on a date, because you are literally aligning with some shit that you don't trust. Niggas be like, yo, I got trust issues in people. No, you don't trust your decision-making skills. And because you don't trust your decision-making skills, guess what you attract? Untrustworthy people. People who make decisions that can't be trusted. It's not hard, bro. It's not hard, sis. All y'all, it is what it is. But we have to get to a point that if we really gonna date and we gonna really understand why the reasons shit happen, we need to understand our decisions. Get into your decisions, tap into your decision making skills. Now go explore the motherfucker who aligns with those decisions. This isn't necessarily to say shut them down as soon as they go against your decisions, but understand why. How do I fuck with you so heavy in your decision making skills? Because my decision making skills ain't what they supposed to be. But keep in mind that when you meeting people, it's about either who you're supposed to elevate to or elevate from. Some people are just a reminder that you're on the right track of your decision making skills. See what your decision making skills will look like if you stayed in that bullshit. Oh, hmm, hmm, hmm. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But that's how it is, man. And then if you start to look at life from that perspective and realize that your decision making skills have a bigger impact in the cosmic world, big or small, they don't fucking matter because it creates a butterfly effect and residual effects within everything. You feel me? You want to have a good life, just have better decisions. Have the decisions that lead to the life that you want, which means you have to be calculated. You have to write things out. You have to create plans. You can't just be out here winging it off hope and faith. That shit don't work. If y'all haven't known yet, they give you faith to make sure you're not paying attention to what decisions you're making. You feel what I'm saying? The bird doesn't give a fuck about the branch breaking because it has wings. Bitch, I can make the decision to fly as opposed to having the decision to hope that this motherfucking branch don't break. It's not the same. But that's how our decision making skills work. And that's the reason why shit works the way that it does. Get out of that shit, bro. Get out of that shit, sis. And really focus on the next time you're in a relationship. Or if you're in a relationship right now and it may be whatever it is to be, ask yourself, are y'all vibing because y'all decisions are the same? You see what I'm saying? Because now when your decisions are the same, now you get to these, you made that decision without asking me, without consulting me. I ain't need to fucking ask you. My decision making skills with this are tight. The fuck you talking about? When y'all are in this in this space like that, there is no question about why decisions are made because you understand, because you are aligned through decision making skills. And don't forget to check out Palacafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Palacafe Clothing. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end there because this is long, but this is necessary because, like I said, I skipped yesterday, so I made a decision to skip yesterday. It just so happened that it came out with this episode. I like the way this one came out because this one's a real one. I don't know if y'all could tell, but like I elevated and shit. Like if y'all notice, like the podcast episodes a little bit different. They a little bit deeper and shit. Like you feel me? I'm in a whole different spot. I can't really explain it, but I can explain it. But it's different. But our decision making, man, that's decisions. That's the reason why shit happens. Niggas be like, everything happens for a reason. It happens for our decisions. But we just don't realize or understand that the decisions that we have and the decisions that we make are from the collective experience of all the decisions that are impacting us. You see what I'm saying? You may not think that saying hi to this motherfucker in the food court or cutting your eyes too quick at this motherfucker, making them look whatever at the food court or whatever, it's a decision that you made that it could affect something in the future. Because some things are subtle, some things are minute, but you never know how that shit resonates. You feel me? There's experiences that I had with women when I was like 12 that I still remember now. That I realized if y'all listening to the motherfucker podcast and you are my stories, the connections and the details, every decision that I've ever involved myself with is effective, is beneficial to me at some point in some time. But there's situations that have to come out a certain way. You feel me? So every decision that everybody else makes in my life that I allow people to make, and it's not necessarily to make in my life. I just need to know how you make decisions to know if you can be in my life. You see what I'm saying? If everything you do is you decide out of survival, I can't make decisions with you because I don't make decisions like that. You feel what I'm saying? Tying it back into the perspective through the religious perspective, when people be like, "Oh, yeah, you don't believe?" Nah, I understand. Our conversation different, and it's funny because when I talk to religious people, they'll say shit like, "Well, everybody's gonna believe what they want to believe." Yeah, that's true, but I don't believe this shit. I understand it. So our decision to understand this shit is different. You see what I mean? When it comes to relationships, like motherfuckers, I've had women tell me some shit like, "Oh, I wanted to transition into the plant based. I decided to. It wasn't a want for me. I decided to. Why? Because I had the conscience to say I needed to eat better. I needed to make sure that my body is good. I needed to make sure that I'm here long enough for my motherfucking kids because I understand the game that they playing. My decision was different. Now, what is your decision for wanting to do this? Oh, because you doing it. Oh, you'll give up. The moment I piss you off, the moment I upset you, whatever the case may be, you'll do some spiteful shit and you'll do whatever you do because you're not doing this for yourself. You have not decided to do this. Watch that shit too. Watch motherfuckers who do shit because everybody else do it. Groupthink is a real fucking thing. When motherfuckers do shit just because everybody else is doing, it's sad. It's a sad, sad reality. My content doesn't blow up until somebody likes it. That's crazy. Most content on social media doesn't blow up until somebody else likes it. You feel me? Because people don't know how to make a decision for themselves. Every decision is based off of is somebody like when the root cause of all your decision is based upon whether or not somebody's gonna like you or not, you're gonna do some sucker shit. You own some sucker shit. And you can only align with motherfuckers who do sucker shit. Because it comes down to your decisions. Wholeheartedly, fully, totally, and completely. It comes down to your motherfucking decisions, bruh. That's it. The decisions of a culture are what we define as deities. The collective culture makes a certain decision, we define that as deities. Now, when one culture clashes with another, the decisions of those cultures are what they call enemies and they create gods and devils. That's why when they met us, they gave us their God because they saw our God based off of decisions that we were making, living off the land, not having diseases and shit, all of the shit. They created this. They said, your decisions conflict with ours. That means that you guys represent what is a devil to us. Simple. I mean, it's simple, really, when you actually understand it. You know how many people are in a space right now where they're making decisions to understand content and information like that, but because of the decisions of the past that they've already made, like they're bound to decisions of other people. You see what I'm saying? Taking it back to the example that I was using where people were saying, like, I left the church. I left the church too, but I came back. I didn't leave the church. I understood the religion. Our decision is totally different, therefore it produced a whole different result. My nigga, like you can go back because you were angry. You just wanted freedom. Nigga, I needed understanding and I got it, and I don't have to use it again. You feel me? Our conversation is totally different. That's why I can continue to produce fruitful decisions because I know how to dive into shit decision based. I know how to make decisions on what I want. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to relationships, I'm only single for this very reason. Because all of the women that I've decided on, you feel what I'm saying? They want to decide, but they in that cusp where they have to talk to their friends. And once they start talking to their friends, they have to align with those decisions. I don't have anybody in my space who doesn't align with the decisions that I'm willing to make every day. Some people do. Again, it's what we're saying. If you said you're, I know because it's what you're supposed to elevate from, or elevate to. A lot of these women supposed to like, a lot of these women supposed to be over here. Like, come on, nigga, bring your ass. The fuck. You feel me? Even if you're not gonna be with me forever, even if you're not gonna like, you're supposed to be here. You have decisions internally that you're supposed to be here. That's why I always get the same conversation with women. I feel so free with you. You let me be my motherfucking self because your decisions align with my decisions, motherfucker. And my decisions align with your true decisions, the decisions that you hide, that you want to make, that you can't make because of what you feel everybody else is gonna feel about you. I don't give a fuck what motherfuckers gonna feel about me because I don't care no more. I don't make that decision for them. You see what I'm saying? My brothers, same shit. Align yourself with a woman like you wonder why she's a hoe, nigga. Your decision is to fuck. You only fuck hoes, my nigga. You feel me? That's her decision too. That's what I be saying. If y'all motherfuckers would embrace the Jezebel spirit and stop being stupid, like, you feel me? You align with what's according to your decisions. Because if she's not fucking and she's not making those same decisions, you feel me? What's that gonna end up? What's that gonna be like for you? So you feel me? When it comes to this relationship shit, when it comes to this world, bro, understand how important your decisions are and how powerful they are. Your decisions make your reality. They make your life fully, completely. They make your entire life. So stop bullshitting with them and be more attentive with your decisions, man, and be comfortable with your decisions and be conscious with them. And it's through your decisions how you find what you attract. You see what I'm saying? If y'all motherfuckers just in y'all space where I ain't finding nobody, who's like, cause you're not making the decision to find nobody. You're not making the decisions that align you with who you are or who you want to be or who you need to be somebody. Some of y'all are single right now because you haven't made a decision to be not single. You want it, you want the desire and all of that shit, but you have not made the decision to not be single no more. You feel me? I know it seems contradictory because I talk about the women that come in this way. I needed to my decision was to make sure I finished everything before I took another relationship seriously. Now, if you want to stay in the game, if you want to be in the gym with me while I'm shooting and I'm getting my shots up and shit, yeah, you can stay here because I know that your decision to stay here, I have to analyze that. What was it for? Because like my thing is also too, what were you doing in that time when I was doing all of this? I've dealt with a woman who told me one time, let's just put a pin in this and revisit it later. Okay, cool. We could do that. Cause I'm not, you feel me? She spun the block and shit. And it's like, oh, you did everything you said you was gonna do. Yeah. So what did you do in that time? Well, I'm still not. Whoa, wait. What? What? You did all of that shit talking about what I wasn't doing, what I wasn't completing, why we needed to put a pin in it because I wasn't making. And look at where you are. You thought you was good. You thought you, and again, it goes back to the decision. So now when you spin the block on me and you come back and shit, like rebounds don't work like that, all of that shit, like show me what your decisions are. Your decisions are. When you tell me, oh, you just came out of a relationship oh, you don't even have the decision to sit with yourself long enough to figure out what the fuck you did in that motherfucker. To figure out how y'all two came together in the first place based off y'all decisions. Feel me? This was a hell of an episode. But it's decisions, bro. Sis, all y'all, when you get to that point and you thoroughly understand your decisions, sit with yourself and just reflect it out into the world. And then you start to realize the importance of decisions and how every decision affects every single thing. You become more attentive with your decisions. And therefore you realize this is the life that I have to decide on every single day. I need my decisions to be that. I need the life that I'm living to be that and to exemplify that. And then the relationship you want is going to come. Now you can either easily filter this motherfucker out. Are you willing to make the decision? Because you got motherfuckers that'll pull up on you and shit just because I like the life you live. Show me that you can decide on living here. Show me that you can decide on being here. You feel me? I need to be in a space where the woman that I'm with or the person that I'm involving myself with for the long run, because I know y'all don't always go by hers. Fuck that. If you in my space, you a her, goddamn. Fuck the bullshit. You ain't no they. You ain't no them. You're a fucking her, my nigga. You're a fucking her. So anyway, if her or she, but anyway, if she comes into my space and shit, I need to know that your decision making is equal to mine. So I don't question you. I don't have to question you. Now that means I have to be that well attuned to my own decision making skills to know that I don't have to question yours. But then when you do some stupid shit and I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? And you tell me you don't know, we got a bigger problem. Because the first time you tell me you don't know why you did what you did, something's off. And I don't know if it's off with me or if it's off with you. But something is off to where you don't know why you did what you did. I don't do what I do without knowing. So when you don't know why you do what you did, either you're lying to me or you're trying to deceive me. That's the same shit. Or if you really don't know why you did what you did, that means you're not thinking about what you do. We got a whole bigger problem with that. But that's an easy way to vet everybody out, simply by paying attention to their decisions and how they make decisions in life. Fuck the red flags. Look at how they make decisions. You can see their decisions right on display. The sole fact that they chose to come on a date, that's the first decision with you. The way that they eat, the way that they choose to eat, the way that they talk about certain shit, the way that they sit, everything. Like, look at how they decide to interact with your ass. Pay attention. I don't mind getting ghosted. Oh, I just can't. I'm not, because that shows me you don't even have the wherewithal to face a problem that you really have and walk away from it. You have a problem with ending things when you ghost people. Like when women leave me on red and shit, it's like I get the hint. Dad, you wasn't gonna hit me back. Fuck no. I sent the last message. They be thinking I'm being petty when I say that shit. I'm like, I sent the last message. You left me on red. Dad, you wasn't gonna. No, I don't. I do not decide because for me to constantly keep going back shows me that I'm making a decision to try to erase the decision you're showing me you're making. Why would I do that? You left me on kept, you left me on red, you left me on scene, you left me on all of these things. I don't like, okay, cool. I see what decision you're making. I take the hint. Oh, men are supposed to put pressure. Women are supposed to put pressure. You should apply pressure. You give up too easy. It ain't about giving up. I'm seeing your decision making skills. You suck. You suck at communicating what you really want, and you throw tantrums and you're trying. Like, I see what that decision leads to. You hear my whole thought. I give you a whole thought, and you left me on red waiting for me to respond again to see if I really care. No. I'm not playing that game. I don't play that game no more. Just don't. But I don't have a problem with it because I understand the decision in which you're choosing to make. Now you have to live with the decision that I'm choosing to make. But this motherfucker long as hell, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure to eat the vegetables. And our kids are choosing to incarnate into this plane based off decisions that we're making. Our kids are choosing to incarnate into this plane based off of the decisions that we're currently making. Their souls know that to complete my purpose, I got to come in at a specific moment when this motherfucker and another motherfucker's decisions align. Good, bad, or ugly, I don't give a fuck. This is where I got to come into the space. Are you prepared for that? Are your decisions aligned to where your kids can benefit from those decisions right now? Or are they going to have to clean up the message you made and then start their life? You have time. You have time. All you got to do is make the change and start making better decisions. Start fucking with motherfuckers who make better decisions. And if you and a motherfucker that you done had the kids with can't make better decisions, figure out how the best way to make the best of the decisions you two can make. Because your child needs you too, decision-making motherfuckers. It needs your decision-making skills to help enhance its decision-making skills. You feel me? Don't get behind the loop. Don't get afraid. Don't get scary. Don't get none of that shit. You feel me? Our kids, if we want them to be productive members of society and shit, we can't just put them in the hands of the government. We got to actually teach them how to make decisions, which means they're going to have to know how to think, which means there's a whole bunch of things that we got to do that they're banking on us to do because they chose us as the vessels based off of the cumulative decision makers that we come to terms with. You see what I'm saying? Don't let our babies go through another generation of shit, bro. Sis, all y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there because it's long as fuck. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.